strategy, and I'm going to be more talking about this morning. We want to talk about some ETFs and the sectors that are cheap. And there's some special sectors that I want to talk about. One of them is buyback shares. Which companies are buying back their own shares? And when a company is buying back their own shares, that means they're showing that the company is still cheap and valuable. Okay, so that is usually a lot of people. I look for a lot of stocks when people are buying, insiders are buying their own shares. And a couple of, in the past that I have bought, that company that bought their own shares back actually made a great, one of the best investments. Versa Bank was one of them, and Caterpillar is another one. There's a whole bunch of other companies that have been buying back their shares, and they're sitting at all their all-time highs. That's another strategy that you can use. And there's actually an ETF, they in the on the market that only invest in stocks that are buying back their own shares. So if you look at that ETF, Jeton, do you want to try to find good companies that are buying back their own shares? A lot of times you don't have to even go looking at the SEC. That's where I go look at the data, right? SEC data, which companies are buying back their own shares. But you can go to an ETF, making an easy way to go search which companies are buying their own shares back. So SEC is one way, but if you want to know SEC right away within 30 days that they've been buying their shares back, you're going to have to subscribe. You're going to have to pay. But with the ETF, you don't. ETF buys companies are basically buying their shares back. So I'm going to show you that ETF. We'll take a look at some of the ETFs, and we're going to take a look at some of the stocks as well that are buying back their own shares back. So first, before we get there, just a quick look at the market. I'm sharing the right screen, yeah. Just this morning, last night, China announced and the U.S. announced they sort of have a deal on the Chinese, and this is they agree on trade, but it's nothing in writing. Okay, there's nothing in writing. The same thing happened last time when they announced that deal, when they were negotiating in Europe there. Besant and the Trade Secretary Latnik, all of those guys went there, and they came out with nothing at the end. There was no signature on anything. So it's the same thing right now. There's no signature on anything. It's a trade that they agreed in principle, but they gotta still write this stuff out. Who knows if they're gonna break out again? But one thing it is gonna cause today, it's gonna cause the market to go up. We already broke our that chart pattern that we were showing last week. Hey, you got a left shoulder, you got the head, and you got the right shoulder. But the right shoulder, remember, broke. This is when it broke to the upside here and closed above. That kind of nullified this chart pattern. So we are continuing to the upside. Okay, so there is no resistance up here on ES, on the ES futures. There's no resistance here. We don't know how far the market can go up now. Okay, the only thing we do know is now 6804 is a support line on this. If we come back below 6804, that way we can go to the market downside. But above here, and if the market stays above here, we don't know how far it's gonna go. This is now into the black space. Okay. So what should we do? I know tonight when the market's gonna open up, if this deal stands here, this market's gonna open up higher, and this is just gonna make this market more and more overvalued. Okay, and when the market really gets overvalued, sooner or later it's gonna give us a correction. Okay, but short term, like I said, I'm into cash still, and if the stocks that you're holding, that we like CNR, the housing stocks, those stocks should get a nice push to the upside. Okay, that means the 10-year yield now sitting back again at 4%. It's amazing this thing is not coming down. Okay, we need this to come down for the market just to give us a little more. There's excess cash coming in. There's more liquidity coming into the market. And one way we're going to see the market come liquidity is more interest rate cuts. Like I said, been saying for the last year, I have never seen a market where the market is this high and there are interest rate cuts. Normally, we are in a recession. The market's usually going down. That's when we are usually cutting interest rates. We're cutting interest rates as the market is climbing. What are we doing with that? We are fueling this market to go higher and higher with nothing underlying needs that really there is no money coming out. The earnings were okay. I mean, all the earnings have come out so far, but the future is what the way the market is, what it's sitting. We're looking at the inflation rate. We're looking at the jobs market. Jobs are terrible out there. And when you talk to a lot of these logistic people with trucking and industry, it is U.S. is in a bad shape. Okay, so transportation is the first sector that tells us the economy is not doing well. If that sector is not doing well, if transportation sector doesn't do well, normally the economy doesn't do well. But we're looking at stock market is not the economy. It's telling us the stock market, there are a lot of companies that are doing well. There's very few that are pushing this market to the upside, especially the M7 stocks, right? They're pushing this market higher and higher. Okay, so that's what's going on with right now. There's nothing behind this, no solid material behind this market right now, other than we are getting interest rate cuts. But interest rate cuts are stocks that we like to have: DHI, PHM, SRU.U and P. Stay in those stocks. Those stocks will pump up to the upside. So overall market, we're going to see it go up tonight. What's going to happen to the price of oil and gold? I look for especially gold price. Things are kind of settling down. I think gold will be just sitting sideways or lower. It's sitting at 41.37 today, and it was down $7-8 on Friday. I don't expect the gold to really shoot back up to 4,500 or 5K level anytime soon. So if this goes the way it's going to go this evening here at 6 o'clock, I should see the gold more to the downside. I might see the oil price jump up because a little bit the Putin and Donald Trump still having problems. Okay, so this Putin hasn't replied back really. What is he going to do about the Tomahawk missiles and stuff like that? That might create an animosity a little bit, and that might push the market again. If anything bad comes out, that will push the market to the downside, and gold prices higher, and oil prices higher as well. We saw the oil prices climb there last week because of that tension, that big tension. That's why this thing went from 55 to all the way to the golden line and hit right back, right? So it hit right back. So for oil to be bullish, we needed above this golden line there. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the ETFs and the markets. Some of the ETF I've been talking about, and especially ones that are the insider buying. So if you go to the market, if the ETFs that I always look back is here, especially in the market data. So basically, if you look at the market, that's what we want to first take a look at. What are the markets doing here? Okay, let's take a look at where is it? These are all ETFs. I want to go to right there. I wanted to go to the local markets sectors. Here we go. Let's go to these sectors. So we wanna. I'm a type of investor that's what we all try to be is go with the cheap sectors, the ones that haven't performed. The ones that have really performed communications, we know that that's the M7 area there, and plus this technology. These sectors have been just fired up to the upside, right? That's what driving this market to the upside. So technology and Communications has been really pushing this market to the upside. So what hasn't been pushing the market to the upside is the utilities. I did 2 months ago to buy utilities. September 22, I was very high on this ETF and ZUT, and both of them have performed very well. This was around 85 bucks back then, and this one has gone higher than 91.39. It's gone as a 93.77, so $9 gain, about 10% over the 2 months. Very easy money. Plus they pay dividend as well. Okay, we will take a look at some of the companies in the utilities that we can still buy, or when we'll take a look at a healthcare as well, which hasn't been gone anywhere because of all that money they took out of that budget last year, and this has underperformed. Healthcare is what we need for the future as the population is getting old. We need to invest in this sector more, and over the coming days, I think this is one of the sectors that will perform as well, and energy sector as well here. But we're going to look at the technology and the communication sector that has really gone up. And the other thing I'm going to look at is the other stocks we're going to talk about here, ETFs. Okay, strategies, especially in the ETF. So quickly, let's take a look at the utilities again. What is the utilities doing, and is it still a buy? Yes, I think this is still a buy. I think I have $100 target on this ETF. And why is it cheap? If the price, if you're gonna, why am I saying this? Is because if the interest rates are gonna come down, the utility sector pays better dividends. It's a more safer place where people go into because they're gonna get a better return. Okay, especially and the money when you go into the utility sector, it's also one of the safest sector as well. It won't go skyrocketing to the upside, but your money will be steady, and the dividends are good in here. This one paid 2.53, and about 2 months ago, this thing was over 3%. Okay, and I think these dividends gonna climb as well. So this is the one you can still own. I still got $100 target in it by December, and it's easy money. It's one of those that you should. Well, I'm gonna especially say that you should own in your TFSA or your RSP or your 401k plan. Okay, those are the. So I'm specifically telling you some of the stocks that you can own. A lot of people said I only want stocks that I can put in TFSA or RSP or the stocks that I don't have to worry about. Well, this is the one. Okay, you can take a look at it on this one, but you can also take a look at individual stocks. Okay, when you go into a sector, you can go on Fin. You don't have to have this site here, Seeking Alpha. You can go to finwiz.com and you can do the same thing what I'm gonna do here. Okay, and that's a free website. This one here is a paid. A lot of the information that you gotta look in here, it's a paid information. Okay, subscription. So let's go into some of the company that this ETF is holding. So top ones. This is the one we own this company right there. We own this company already. Okay, we own the ETF. You can own the ETF. You can own individual. If you don't want to buy the ETF, you want a better return, buy the companies. So this is the one of the companies we own, has done really well. This is a $100 target on this one alone. And we took it on the breakout right down there, right somewhere $75 level, and it's sitting at 85 bucks. And it's paying 2.68% dividend. It's a pretty solid company. And this is the one you can, again, own in your TFSA account, or you can own your 401k or your RSP account. Okay, it's a very strong buy. It's going to continue. What do? You can, they're electrical producers. You can read the description down here. They generate, transmit. Okay, you cannot, no company can just start up infrastructure like this. No, there's no companies out there. They can just start producing electricity, put up lines up, transmit. So this is a utility, and look at the revenue growth in the next couple of years. All these data centers that are going in, gonna need a lot of power, and this is one of the companies that provides it. And look at the forecasted revenue, because this is going to be all-time high in 2026. 2025, it's already doing well. 2026, 32 billion. That's very good for the numbers, right? Very good number. Not only that, if you look at the valuation, I know that these numbers are kind of from the past numbers. This is one of the things can be misleading here. Okay, these numbers, I don't like to see the reds here. I like to see A pluses, C's, D's. This is really, I respect these ratings. I do. I follow them a lot myself. But when you look at these numbers, sometimes they can be misleading. If you know how to look at the stock, you know how to look at the financials, you can say that these things are a little bit out of whack. Okay. But I still like price to earnings ratio. Forward price to earnings ratio is less. That's what it should be, right? The forward, everybody knows, everybody understands forward looking price to earnings ratio should be less than the current price to earnings ratio, right? Why? Because the earnings are growing. If the earnings are growing, that thing should be less, right? We take the price to earning, we take the price per share earnings and divide it into the current price. That's how we get our price to earnings ratio. So if the number is going up, that means price to earnings per share is going up. The stock should go up. Okay. So this one is really good stock. And where did we find them? We found it in the ETF. By looking into this ETF, we found it in there. And they all, like ETFs, want to perform well. And they usually look for only good company. Vista is another one, right, Gurkeet? I think we own this one too, right? What else we own here? Constellation Energy, I think we own this one too. They performed well. It was up 23 bucks on Friday. And this is going higher. $500 target on this one.
ਇਹ ਭਾਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੈਟਰ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹੈ CG
Yeah, CGE is another one. Yeah.
Constellation Energy
Sorry.
ਆਹੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੈਟਰ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹੈ
Sorry, repeat that. I'm sorry, Gurkeet, I cut you off.
ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ Constellation Energy ਤੇ TLN ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ 10-10 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ 30-30 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ
Yeah. So I mean, these companies going to be around for a very long time. In the future, they're going to need energy, right? And these are the energy producers, utilities. Okay. So if you look at the numbers, valuation on this is the same thing, misleading. These numbers. What if these numbers were really like this here? Why is the stock going up? Stock's going up. That's why we teach you how to look at the numbers. We teach you how to look at the price to earnings ratio. We show you how to look, and you look at the bottom here. Look at the growth in there. It's also growing. 24 billion revenue for this company. It's no means is a small company. 24 billion. You know, but 20 for revenue. And if you look at market cap is 121 billion. Right? I think this is going to double, 142 billion. If this doubles in market cap, what is this price is going to be? This is going to be like 800 bucks. Right? Before it even gets to 800, I think they're going to split the stock sooner or later. They're going to split it, right? 1 for 10 or 1 for 5, something like that. Make it cheaper. When this thing becomes cheaper, more and more people buy this stock and push the price even higher. Right? Okay. So again, you can go to ETF. You can either buy the ETF or you can buy a company and find a company in that ETF. Okay. So again, that was utilities. Same thing with real estate. This is where I found CBRE. Okay. When you look at this is a real estate sector. So to find good stocks in here, again, you can either buy the sector if you don't want to take the risk in one. This is going to be here long for. I think this is really cheap. We all know real estate has really taken a beating. And look what this ETF has done. Just done sideways, basically. Right? But it's eventually going to continue to the upside. And meantime, you're getting 3.26% dividend, right? The interest rates are coming down. They're still gonna do earnings sort of dividend. If this thing sits here, we don't know when the stock is ever gonna take off to the upside. We don't ever know it's gonna do it. But if we are if all we do the research and we know why this stock should go up, sooner or later it will. Interest rates are dropping, right? Back here, interest rates were really down. What was this doing? Up. Eventually, the interest rate will be low enough. This will start catching, and we want to get into stocks like this before everybody else catches on. Just like we did a couple of months ago, all the housing stocks. We want to get into that sector before everybody else starts pushing stuff up. Okay. You can also, instead of going holding, you can go in here and holding. Go just click on here and you can see what's it's holding. There's the CBRE group. This is where we found. This is where I started buying. Where did I find it? In here. Look what this stock has done. You find a lot of good stocks in the ETFs. You don't have to go anywhere else to research. You don't have to have somebody give you these guys, when they put these stocks in their ETFs, they know it's a pretty good stock. Same thing, this public storage thing. What's cost these here? This is cheap. You know what? If you are going to public storage, they just collect rent. It's not a place where you can live. They give you one little light. It doesn't cost them a lot of this thing to run, right? All the locks everything's automated. You don't have a lot of employees. This is still cheap. It's running through, almost giving us 4%. Okay. Would I buy it? Yeah, I definitely buy it. Okay. What are the financials? This one here is nice. Forward-looking numbers. Right. Pays a good dividend. I don't think these guys it's just a look. It's money. They're just printing money sitting there. Okay. Then if you can buy the ETF or you can buy go, and really if you want to do your homework, go in here, find a good company with good numbers. That's not the only one. CBRE a couple of months ago, about a year ago, picked this one up, right? But again, there are other ones here, but you have to do your number, and these are their biggest holdings. I don't want to look at stocks that are maybe few holdings. I would like to see what their biggest holdings are. Okay, you can find them in here, and let's go over to the next sector. Okay, these are all the basic sectors here. You got your industrial, technology, and I don't want to go into technology and find stocks that are 52-week highs. I don't know when they're going to turn back. Sooner or later, they're going to turn back. That is the biggest gain. Remember, yesterday I showed you guys, the utility sector is up 43%. It's up 20% over the last 2 months. Okay, over 20%. So let's take a look at some of the other ETFs in here. The one I want to show you are Strategies ETF. Here. These are ETFs. You can buy them like a PKW. What does PKW do? It's performed 63% over 3 years. And this year alone, it's up to over 16%. Okay. This is a buyback. What these companies, they only put companies in here who are buying their shares back. Okay. That tells you if companies are buying their shares back, they're pretty valuable, right? If companies are buying back their shares, you want to go look at them. They're buying their shares back because they think they're the best cash they got on hand. That's what serves them better. They take, what are buybacks? Buybacks is they're buying their shares. They're going on to the market. They're buying their shares back. Before they can buy their shares back, they got to go to SEC and file a notice with them. Say, I am going to buy back this many shares, whatever percentage. Normally it's 5%. I'm going to buy 5% of my shares back. Or they also mention in dollar value how much money we're going to spend to buy back our own shares. And when they announce it, do you want to go back to SEC? And if they announce it today, if let's say Amazon comes out in the market says, we're going to buy back 5% of our shares, you might not see a transaction till about a month later. If they go and buy tomorrow, you might not see it. If you're not one of those SEC sites where you're not paying, it's a paid site. Paid site, they give you pretty that much the next day who's buying and selling their shares. Okay, I don't know how they I guess they get their information directly or they pay somebody. Okay, but you can very next day, but it doesn't, even a month later it's fine. You get that information a month later, it's fine. They'll tell you. Okay, and here actually even tells you if you go into this site alone here. Let me see. I think there is a line here somewhere. If you go in here, there is. Okay, they don't mention it in here, but there is here somewhere where they tell you if they're buying their own shares back. Who's buying? Is a CEO, CFO. These guys know their balance sheets. If their own stock is risky, what are they going to do? They're not going to buy back. Okay, so this ETF is. Let's take a look at some of the companies that are buying their shares back. Chevron, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, PayPal. So you can take a look at these companies. Why are they buying their shares back? Chevron is a gas station company in the US. Why? Because their stock is not going anywhere, and they're saying, hey, if the stock is not going to go up, we're going to buy their own shares back. And when they buy their own shares back, sooner or later, this is going to pump up to the upside. This is a great deal. This is a good stock to own right now. Remember the energy sector? The whole energy sector in the ETF is down right now. Look what these stocks are doing. And these are fantastic stocks. 4.40% they're paying a dividend. $315 billion company. Big gas station. Take a look at the valuation. Again, a little bit misleading here. That 21 price to earnings ratio is not bad, right? So these numbers, cash flow is 8.5. Remember, I like energy companies around five times cash flow. This is 8.5, but I'll forgive this one because they own a lot of gas stations. Okay, dividend 4.35. They're gonna keep paying back. They make, what the revenue is on this company? Chevron, it's crazy. 200 billion, 150 to 200 billion revenue per year. This company's not going anywhere. And I like the chart going sideways. This is where I start accumulating. And XOM, yes, I agree. XOM, do they have that in the holdings here? I think they do.
ਐਕਸਨ ਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਚਾਰਟ ਵੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਅਰਨਿੰਗਸ ਫੋਰਕਾਸਟ ਵੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਟੈਕਨੀਕਲੀ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਆਊਟ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤੋੜਿਆ ਤੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਆਊਟ ਹੀ ਕਰੇਗਾ.
Okay, let's take a look at XOM. I bet they own it here. They got over 212 holdings. Okay, they only put the top holdings in here. If you want to look at all their holdings, you can go to whoever created that ETF. Okay, you can go look at their website and see the rest of the holdings. So let's take a look at XOM. XOM, I like XOM myself. ExxonMobil, it's one of the largest companies. It's doing the same thing that the other ones are doing. Like, nobody pays attention to these stocks when they're doing this sideways. Nobody pays attention to them. That's when the institutions are going in there, they're accumulating the stock. And then they'll put a analyst out there, hey, analyst, put a buy rating on this thing. At 100, it'll go to 120, 130 bucks. All of a sudden, everybody will be starting chasing this thing. And when they're chasing, guess what that institutions are doing? They're selling. You want to buy when everything is calm. 3.5% dividend, market cap 491 billion. Look at the revenue on this baby. Through over 300 billion. Okay. Here. This is what I was looking for. Insider selling and buying. This is such a huge company. Yeah, there have been a lot of selling. Insiders been selling here. Who is this guy? Darian Tully. He's a former president of ExxonMobil. Okay, so he's not even he's an insider, but he's not on the company board. Same thing with some of these guys. And this is only 2,000 shares. If there were like millions of shares, or 500,000, or even 50,000, or this one is a big one here, the president CEO sold at 118 bucks. Okay. He sold 118 bucks. What's the price right now?
वो भाई पिछले साल दी गल है.
Yeah, 115 bucks. So it hasn't really affected the price that much. Okay. So it's still, this is a humongous company. A few thousand shares somebody sells is not a big deal with this one. So I wouldn't, if you were looking at that now, the selling you think is negative, believe me, this company is nowhere near close. When you look at it, only selling 2,000 shares. Okay. On the institutions, you can also look at institutional buying and do a search on that too. I'll show you that later, how to look at it. It's not in here if the institutions are buying it. One way I like looking at it is go into, okay, ExxonMobil. Let's go. I want to show you in the trading view here. I want to show you something. You see how this chart is just basically going sideways? It's like it's gone up. It's like a thing. It's sitting there. It's like a bullish flag, but it's not breaking out. So the breakout would be right here, 125 bucks. If it breaks up to the upside. If you guys want to trade this stock, you can trade in this range, back and forth all day long. You can, if you started back here, sell here, buy here, sell here, buy here, right? Every time it comes down here, buy. Now it's sitting right in the middle still. Do I still want to buy it here? Yes, I definitely want to buy. One of the things I look for is when the stock starts going sideways. I want to see these long histograms below. These long histograms below here are institutionals. They're not retailers. They're not small guys. This is a big stock, 115, 120 bucks. When you trade millions of this share a day, and these are especially big, long, I want to take a look when they are here. When did they buy this stock? What price range? This is bought around this range here. Okay, in this range. When you look at this one here, it's bought about this range. You see what I'm getting into? Every time there's a huge amount of buying when the stock comes down. Only this one here shows a little bit to the upside, but it's still about this price. And same thing with this price here, right there. And it's all in this range. There is, the price is not going up and the price is not going down. And there is a huge amount of trading going on in here. When the stock is like this, this is institutional buying. They're accumulating the stock in this range here. And sooner or later, they don't care when, sooner or later, they're going to break this to the upside. And a lot of that stocks happens when the stock is consolidating. You want to look at these bars when the stock is consolidating, not when it's going up, when it's consolidating. Okay, this is a great stock to own. Price comes down tomorrow. If the stock market comes down, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to be the happiest guy out there. I'm going to be buying more down here. If these
EXE भी भाजी बहुत बढ़िया कंपनी है.
Yeah, if all these institutions buying up here, right, Gurkeet? If all they're buying here, why not buy it here? That's when everybody runs, when the market comes down. Markets, everybody gets scared. But you got to know the stock that you're buying. I'm not saying every stock is going to be like that. There's risky stocks out there. There's lots of the risky stocks out there, but this is not. This one always keep going to the upside. They will make money, but that's why me and Gurkeet smile when the market comes down. And everybody else that's been with us now for 3 years, 4 years, they all smiling. Okay, they're not worried about market crashing to the staying down. It doesn't stay down forever. Look at all the market crashes. If you look at ES, look at all the market crashes. Look at the back in 2020, right? Your COVID right there. It's a little dot. No, at the time the whole world was going crazy. Hey, the market's crashing and it's never going to come back. Guess what? We had a better market down here, actually go down here than COVID. And 2008, 2009 is now a little dot. But at the time, the market was down 50%. Okay. Do you imagine if you get a 50% down in the market right now? How much panic would be out there? Even 20%? We got 20% in April. And people were panicking whether the market was coming back to or not. If you own good stuff, that's what I mean. If you own good stuff, you don't ever have to worry about anything else. Buy the good stuff. That's why we say hold on when you got stocks like Caterpillar. Caterpillar I've been holding on now for a couple of years. Bank BMO, Montreal, been holding on for 20 years. There are a lot of XDV, ZUT, been years. That's what you want to be. That's how you want to build your portfolio, if you're 25, 30 years old, this is your pension. You want to create a pension out of these dividend paying stocks, right? So look at the ETFs. Look at the leading ETFs and you'll find very, very good ones. So let's go back to the strategies again here. These were the buybacks. These are the companies that are buying back their own shares. And that's a good place to start. Okay. There's some other ones I like here too. These are different strategies of ETFs they have created that are trading on the markets. Okay. So some of one of them I like is this one here. Okay. And the other one I like, this is strong buy rating stocks. There is any stocks that it has a very strong buy, I like to take a look at them. And these are a lot of what they are from is they are from these very good people who follow stocks. Okay, and this has been going sideways a little bit. And when you one of the things in here, this one here, is these are blue chip companies. They're not companies that don't have any revenue. They don't put any of that stuff in here. They have very strong rating with very strong fundamentals. So let's take a look at some of the holdings they have. Okay, Caterpillar, number one. This stock is hitting 52-week highs. Take a look at the chart. I own it. And it's not going to go anywhere. I think the price is a little bit high right now. If anybody's waiting to buy, I think maybe under 500. Right? My average is 226 on this one. I don't have any plans to sell. Even at 522. Okay. Meantime, collecting a small little dividend at current price. But think about what the dividend was at 226. Okay. I think it's wait. I don't think you should buy this right now. Unless you already have it, then don't sell it. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the other companies in here. I can't believe they have Zoom in here. Why do they have Zoom in here? Zoom's going sideways. Okay. This was a $500 stock. Maybe it's starting to recover. They must know something that I don't know. Okay. Take a look at the valuation on this one. Wow, the valuation is incredible. That's why they have them in here. A plus Zoom. Wow. That's incredible. This was a $500 stock back in COVID. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's take a look at the chart. Catches my eye. Zoom. Yeah, this was way 500. Kathy Woods bought at high prices on this one. and eventually sold it as it was coming down. Okay, so this looks attractive. Financials look very attractive, but I would be interested around 87. What is it trading at today? It's trading at 84, so $87 looks attractive. 87, 88 right there. And the financials look very attractive. So maybe there's something to it. But I'm not going to go out and buy this one just because it looks very attractive. It does, but there are many stocks that are already better than this that are more attractive to me. But if somebody likes Zoom, if they have it and they think this is attractive to them, it is. You should hang on to it. Okay, that is Zoom. Let's go back to our. So this is how you can do your homework. Like guys, if you want to find stocks, go to finviz.com. They have the same thing. You can look at sectors and you can take a look at the stocks that are in that ETF. Okay, that is Zoom. What else are we gonna take a look at here? Let's go back here. IBM. Look at that. They have IBM in there. Wow. Plantier, one I didn't like. 3M is a very good company. This went flying to the upside. People forgot to buy this at under 100. It's sitting at now 168. Everybody was running away from this company under $100. 3M makes a lot of products out there, lot of products, and those are the companies you guys want to own for the. It takes a while, but they no, how many times I know many people called me when we bought a stock that was basically going sideways. CNR was one of them, kept on going down. I would get called, should I hang on? What should I do? I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm buying more. CNR goes down, I'm going to buy some more. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm not worried about it. Very solid company. All right. So same thing in here. When you find companies that are solid, yeah, right. So that's again, water corporation. This is another it's just starting out. It's been going sideways, but this is a very important company as well. Pays 3.23 per dividend, and its revenue is going up slowly. It's not market cap is not as big. It's only about 21 billion, but this company is going to go as well. But look at the valuation on this number. It's a little bit not as attractive as what the Zoom showed or Caterpillar. Right. Okay. So what else you can see? Let me show you some of the other ETFs. These are the ones that are strong upgraded buy. Okay. Any stocks are upgraded by the analysts and stuff like that. Okay. Some of the other ones, I also like this one, merger arbitrage. Okay. These are companies where, like, you guys probably heard Warren Buffett. The companies that are going to merge or going to get bought out. This is another place you can come out and take a look. What companies are they holding that has a possible buyouts? Okay. Possible. Tech Resources actually got a lot of shares bought out. I don't think Palo Alto Network is going to buy any, sell out, but I think they may buy somebody. This is a huge
ਇਹ
company.
ਭਾਜੀ ਸਾਈਬਰ ਆਰਕ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਏ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ
CyberArk is buying them out?
No, Palo Alto buy ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ
Oh,
ਸਾਈਬਰ
Palo
ਆਰਕ ਨੂੰ
Alto buy kar, yes, yeah. So the companies that are in here, either they're going to buy somebody or they're going to get bought out. Okay. These are big companies. If you have a market cap with a huge company, normally they will buy somebody. A company with a small market cap, those are the ones you want to see in here. A small market cap. So what's the CyberArk software? What's the market cap on this one? 25 billion. Wow, very strong chart. 25 billion. Somebody, they're going to buy somebody. $511 stock. The stock is just flying. I don't
Palo
know
Alto
much about
buy
this.
ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ
What's that?
Palo Alto buy ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨੂੰ
ਇਹਨੂੰ buy ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ? So
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ
there you go. Do you want to take a look at companies in here that are going to get bought out or they're going to buy somebody out? And there are 80 more companies. Again, you can go look at their website. You can find them there. Okay. I'm giving you guys, you might think that I'm just showing you this stuff. This is what I'm showing, how you can do research yourself. Go look at stuff. Go find a stock. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we see on the ETFs.
ਭਾਜੀ
Yeah.
ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰੋਨਿਕ ਆਰਟਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਤੋਂ,
Yeah.
ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੇਅਰਸ 'ਚ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੈਲ ਕਰ ਪਾਉਣਗੇ ਫਿਰ?
They have
ਉਹ
to
ਗਏ ਪੈਸੇ?
they have to, I think, first they have to go into the market. They must own about 65% of the shares. If they buy 65% of the shares, whatever the offer price is, then the rest of the 35% have no choice. They have to sell them whatever the price they're paying.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it works. I think the 65%. Yeah, that's the number. If they buy 65% of the share, they already buy kar liya, then the 35% have no choice but to sell them at that price. It's just like a corporation. Who controls a corporation? 51-49. The guy with 51 makes more. He can make more decision, right? And that's what Elon Musk is trying to do with his Tesla. And the way he's trying to do it is by voting shares, not by owning 51% of the shares, by voting shares. He's trying to create a Class B share where the voting share is like you can have 10 votes on one share, Class B shares, and he wants to own those Class B shares so he can control the company. And I don't like companies like that. And when person try to control a company with less shares, that's Bombardier for years. A Bombardier family just reaped that company. It started going up recently because they had to give up control, a lot of control. That's why it started going up. But for years, this family controlled with very small number of shares, Class B shares, Class A shares. I don't like when a company has Class A, Class B shares. It's exception for Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway has A shares and B shares. Their A shares are $700,000 plus. Class B shares are a lot cheaper, right? But Class A shares have voting rights more than Class B. And what's his name? Warren Buffett did not want to create Class B shares. He didn't. He doesn't like that either. He only created Class B shares because people can't afford their Class A shares. So he created Class B shares for them. That's it. He didn't want to create Class B shares. He said buy Class A. But problem was there's so much demand for his stock that people kind of were asking, hey, please, give us something we can at least buy. We can't buy your Class A. At least we can afford some part of, Berkshire Hathaway with cheaper price. So he created the B shares, but I think it was 95, 96, something like that. He sold that
ਪਰ
for
B shares ਕੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਾਲ ਭਾਈ VOTING rights ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੇ.
It doesn't matter. It's just like it's ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਵੀ ਕੀ Class B ਦੇ shares ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹਦੀ voting ਘੱਟ ਹੈ, right? So it's just people owning. They feel like they wanted to buy shares. That's why they bought the B shares. And it came at $1,000, I think, back in '95. And in the split and everything else, that 1,000 shares, I think, is worth around $45,000, $50,000 more now. So quite a bit of growth in Berkshire Hathaway. So anyways, that's why I don't like those Class A and B shares. That's why I don't like Elon Musk sometimes when he does stupid things like that. Okay, what else? Let's go back here. Let's look at some of the more hedged equity. This is more probably like playing with options. Okay, this is probably a good to play now because of the market volatility that is high. Okay, this is probably the good. I don't know, group picks. I don't know what this is. Let me see what they're based on. They usually tell you right here. This is based on managed by, and they tell you the company. You can go to their website here. This is what I mean. You can take a look at all the shares they own. Well, like what other companies they own. So it invests public equity market in the United States. The fund is in stock company, diversified sector fund in growth. Okay, they invest in growth and value stocks and diversified market capitalization. The fund seeks to track performance of these. Okay, more of these global funds. You can read the description right here, and then you can go take a look what the holdings are in here. I don't really follow this one, but looks like it has pretty good stocks in it. Warner Brothers are just getting bought out. They own about 2% of it. Okay. So that's how you do all that ETF. Take a look at the ETFs, what ETF sectors you want to buy, what stocks are in it, and to find the good stocks in there. Okay. The main sectors, which are this one here, is actually each sector in this is US, all of them. Utility, this is where you want to start off from. Okay. Any questions? Anybody have questions? I talked to quite a bit. Nobody's have any question? We're gonna talk about a lot more stocks. We're gonna look at healthcare this week. We're gonna look at healthcare and more of utility stocks and insurance stocks. They're still cheap.
Okay. Can you hear me, Paji?
I hear you. Yes.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਜੀ ਰਾਜ
ਜੀ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਵਧੀਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ
ਵਧੀਆ ਜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਦੱਸੋ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ
ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰਕਿਰਤ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਸਟਾਕ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਲੌਂਗ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਲਿਆ ਰਾਈਟ ਸੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਉਹੀ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਫਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਸ਼ਨਸ ਲੌਂਗ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਲਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਸੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੀ ਗੱਲ
ਕਿਹਨੇ ਲਿਆ who bought
ਗੁਰਕਿਰਤ ਨੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਥੋੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ
okay Gurkeet can you
explain can you please explain
ਕੌਨਸਟੇਲੇਸ਼ਨ એનર્ਜੀ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਮੈਟਾ ਨੇ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ એનર્ਜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਅਗਲੇ 20 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਲਈ
ਓਕੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ 10 ਸਾਲ ਲੌਂਗ ਉਹ ਬਾਏ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਸਟਾਕ ਤੇ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਏ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੋ ਦੈਟਸ ਵਾਈ ਆਈ ਵਾਸ ਵੰਡਰਿੰਗ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਟਾਕ ਖਰੀਦ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਫਿਰ ਲਾਈਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਲੌਂਗ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਲਿਆ ਸੋ ਦੈਟ ਵਾਸ ਮਾਈ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ
ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਨੇ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਲਿੱਤਾ ਵਾ ਮੈਟਾ ਤੋਂ ਉਹ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਡੀਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਨਾ
ਓਕੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਚ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਲੌਂਗ ਟਰਮ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਦੱਸੋਗੇ
First of all, they call them leaps. You can buy, options for 10 years, 15 years, if you think, depending on. Normally, when they buy the leaps for long term, are for growing companies. Like if you know Nvidia 10 years ago, they would buy maybe the long term leaps because the company is going to grow. I'm not into options that long. Everybody knows I'm a 0-day expiry type of a investor in options or weekly. That's it. Long-term leaps, yeah, you can buy them, but you got to do a lot of research. And if you find a company like Nvidia that's going to be growing in 10 years, some of the companies we looked at, like if you're looking at robotic companies, first of all, they have to survive for that long, right? You don't know which company is going to survive. So I don't buy anything. I don't recommend for anybody unless you know the company real well, done your homework, you know it's going to survive, then buy it. But I don't know. Normally, if you want to buy a leap, I'd rather you buy a company, rather buy the company stock. Well, I know, but the leaps are cheaper, right? You can control stock with if you buy with options. You can control a stock with less price. You don't have to put in, but if you have to buy a stock, you're gonna have to put a lot of equity in it. That's what a lot of people are.
Yeah.
They think it's easier to buy, with option, which has do less capital, but in the long term, really, I think more of the option traders, 90% of them actually end up losing money.
Yeah. No, thank you, Paji. I just wanted to hear your perspective on this.
Yeah, it's I don't invest in long term options. I hardly go anything over a month or a week. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody else? And premiums get eaten away, right? Premiums usually, you want to go into options when the premiums are down. You want to buy them at the bottom. You don't want to buy when premiums are up. And one way to tell premiums are up is when your VIX is up. If your VIX is up, that means your premiums are pretty expensive. Okay. We'll do an option class one. I'll get Harvey to do it. He does it better, I think, option class than I do. Okay, he'll go into gamma, data, delta, all the Greeks. He'll explain it better. Anybody else have a question, guys? Okay. Well,
Thank
I
you.
think
That was a
Harvey's
good
doing
set.
his class today at 2 o'clock. So later on, we'll be doing a market update with Harpreet around 4 o'clock. We'll do the market update. Make sure you guys are watching that on YouTube. And Harvey's gonna do a class, I think, around 2 o'clock. And I will be on throughout the day, not doing anything special. I will maybe come back a little later on. We'll do some more talking about this stuff. Anybody else have a question? Anybody else?